Yordenis Ugas beats Manny Pacquiao with a decisive 12-round unanimous decision. He proves to be too big, too strong, but also too skilled for Manny Pacquiao. Many people in the lead up to this fight who had seen Ugas knew that he posed a very real threat, and it was not beyond the realms of possibility that he could beat Manny Pacquiao. In my pre-fight video, I outlined how the age and inactivity of Pacquiao was as a considerable factor going into this fight, but the attributes of Yordenis Ugas meant that he had a real chance of beating Pacquiao. I thought that it would be, at the bare minimum, a very tough and close fight, but one where Pacquiao, being the name, being the superstar, would probably get a controversial split decision or majority decision. But it proved, Ugas proved to be too good, and he, even though it did go to decision, he really left no doubt that he beat Manny Pacquiao. He did so with such precision and such quality, and it was very, very impressive. So to break this fight down, round by round, round one, both men came out attempting to control the lead hand of the other, really try and bridge the gap between themselves and their opponents. Pacquiao was the more aggressive, but one thing that I noticed straight away was that Ugas wasn't overwhelmed. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have the explosive edge he used to, but he can still really piece together his punches. He still has the foot speed, still has the hand speed. But Ugas was so calm and collected, as I outlined in the pre-fight video. His expression is he's so stoic, he's so cool and calm. And it's obviously testament to his experience, but also his ability as a fighter. But nevertheless, I had that one a Pacquiao round. Round two, Ugas showed the sharp counters that he's kind of known for, especially with the straight right hand. Pacquiao tried his typical splitting of the jab, which is, for those who don't know, Pacquiao kind of edges himself forward and gets the weight onto his front right foot. Against an orthodox opponent, what that typically does is it draws the jab, the lead left jab from them. And what Pacquiao will do is, once that jab is coming, to the punch that he's trying to get from the opponent, he'll slip even further to his right, and at the same time simultaneously shoot out the straight left. And that splits the jab. It lands on the orthodox opponent as the orthodox opponent is sending out their left jab, and it kind of doubles the impact and it catches them by surprise. Very potent counter for a southpaw, or for the southpaw orthodox matchup. Pacquiao has really got that technique down pat. He also tried to use the hook over Yordenis Ugas' left jab, but Ugas was just too defensively responsible, too aware. Coming from Cuba, he's probably fought and sparred loads of southpaws, so he knows the tricks, he knows what he's going up against. And Pacquiao just couldn't get those two punches in particular to work. Good start by Ugas, but I still felt that Pacquiao won that round. Round three, Ugas started to find a home for the looping right hand, and his guard was very effective against Pacquiao's flurries. As I say, Pacquiao doesn't have the same edge that he used to, but he can still put his punches together with a lot of speed and a lot of intensity. But Ugas's his guard was just too good, too tight, too effective. It was a closer round. I had it 10-10, but I can definitely understand someone giving it to either man. Round four, I felt that Ugas displayed a very high boxing IQ. One thing that I was particularly impressed with was whenever Pacquiao would kind of bob forward, he'd rhythmically change or raise his guard. So he'd kind of be more relaxed, then he'd bring it up, kind of call it having the earmuffs on. And whenever Pacquiao went into that high guard position, Ugas would use his lead left hand to take away the vision of Pacquiao while engaging his gloves. If you can imagine a fighter using those earmuffs, got a very high guard on, it leaves a very narrow window for the fighter's vision. So what you can do, if you're aware enough, if your IQ is high enough, is you can then extend your lead hand and then pin that fighter's gloves to their face while blocking their vision. It serves a dual purpose, because you physically stop their gloves from being moved or make it difficult, while blinding them, and you can set your own offense up so it catches them off guard. Ugas was doing that, and doing that with regularity. He also had great rhythm and timing on his jab, Some jabs even rocked Pacquiao's head back slightly, so it's very impressive stuff. And a clear round for Ugas, 10-9 to him. Round 5, the subtle defense was really shown from Ugas. The subtle step backs or the little slips, sometimes combining the two, showed great defensive responsibility. And Pacquiao just consistently keep Ugas in his range. I spoke about in the pre-fight video that Pacquiao had to kind of fight in extremes. He had to have an all or nothing rule where he's either so far out that Ugas can't land, or really close up to the point where Ugas is in Pacquiao's range. He can't afford to just be in that middle ground where Ugas can land on him, but he can't land on Ugas. So Pacquiao just didn't have any success at this point. Ugas managing the range too well, too sharp on the counter, making it very difficult for Pacquiao. Round 6, wasn't much activity from Pacquiao, and Ugas, I think, just with the activity and the ring presence, won him that round. Round 7, Ugas started to get even more success with the straight shots, so that was another round from him. Round 8, it was a good back and forth action, but the cleaner punches and the control I just felt was in Ugas's favour. I think his success and it seemed like he was more comfortable at that point, so I had to give him the round. Round 9, the copy of the fight I was watching, the first 45 seconds of the round were missing. So it was a quieter round, I felt, but just edged by Ugas. Round 10, there was a good exchange early in the rounds that was won by Pacquiao. So it was a better round by Pacquiao, but I just felt that the precision in the work was from Ugas. In round 11, the lower output from Ugas kind of gave Pacquiao an easier time, and Pacquiao landed some good straight shots, especially down the middle of Ugas's guard, and I felt that was a Pacquiao round. Final round, round 12, was a good round from Ugas, and I noticed that there's very little decline in his sharpness. When you consider that the man's just fought for 33 minutes, and he still looks quite fresh, it was very impressive, and you can tell he's very well conditioned. Not that the fight was fought at blistering pace, but there were some very fast moments. Pacquiao looked quite ragged, to be honest, at this point. And Ugas, as I say, he had a good deal of freshness. I would have liked to have seen a bit more variation in Ugas's right hand. He seemed a bit reliant on the looping right hand at this point. I think he could have mixed it up by going looping right to the body, if you can set it up, or the straight punch to head on body. But that's kind of nitpicking because he was winning comfortably at this point. The final bell rang, it went to points, and the unanimous decision victory for Ugas was announced. Overall, I had Yordenis Ugas winning 8 rounds, Pacquiao winning 3 rounds, and then 1 even round. So a clear, decisive, unanimous decision victory. Well earned. Yordenis Ugas finally has his breakout performance. He is now, the man who beat the man. He's now a champion, and he has a good claim to being one of the best at welterweight. Very excited to see who he fights next, be it Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, maybe even a rematch with Sean Porter. I think there's so many good fights that Yordenis Ugas is going to be in. I just felt that this was probably the best performance I've ever seen from him. I've seen quite a few of his fights, but this was by far, he just took it up a level. The offense was flowing. He just displayed IQ, good technique, both offensively, defensively, especially defensively, because I felt that there were some defensive shortcomings that Pacquiao and maybe some other fighters would be able to take advantage of, but he just must have prepared so diligently, and it showed in this fight. Really upped his game, and I feel like we're going to see a good reign, a good, very good, entertaining road ahead for Yordenis Ugas. And credit to him, credit to both men, especially because Pacquiao, 42 years old, hasn't fought in 2 years, and he goes in against someone as dangerous as Yordenis Ugas. Credit to him. If Pacquiao wants to retire now, personally, I think he should. I don't think he has anything left to prove, and I think most people will echo those sentiments. He really has carved out an all-time great legacy and career for himself. And yeah, he might go out on a loss, but that's what happens when you fight all comers. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. If you're fighting the best, that's just what happens. That's the nature of it. That's the nature of sport, especially a tough sport like boxing, where styles make fights. So if Pacquiao wants to hang up the gloves, credit to him, man. Credit to him. And Yordenis Ugas, exciting to see where he goes next. You know, when a fighter ups their game and they're good, and then they have that fight where they show they're great, and you're just excited to see where they go next and who they fight, and you want to keep track of them. That's me with Yordenis Ugas. You know, changed his life, and he kept trying. 4 losses, and that's what I mean. His record's very. It's very easy to get caught off by his record because it's not that spectacular. He's going into this fight, he was 26-4 with like 12 KOs. That doesn't sound that great, but you dedicate yourself to your craft and you never stop trying to improve, and you can achieve great things. This is proof of it. So yeah, it's a good fight, better than the other Philippines versus Cuba matchup from last week. Everyone knows it. I don't have to talk about it. Yeah, this was a good fight. Very impressive performance. And yeah, that's all I have to say on this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next video.